Hello, everyone. It's Tiffany, the Miracles Coach. So excited to be officially kicking off day one of the 7-day surrendered business experience with all of you. And I do want to share that all of these videos, like this one going forward, will be audio with slides versus actual me on video. I didn't remember to share that last time. I don't think it really matters, but just a heads up, expect all of these videos in this series to be this way. All right. So in the times that I've run this experience in the past, I've always usually shared where all of this started for me back in 2018 with my own personal surrender journey and how through nothing but literal pure surrender, I manifested a renewed marriage, a miracle baby, and nearly 100K within 14 months, even while not working for almost a full 12 months. I always say, don't ever let anyone tell you you can't manifest by sitting around and meditating all day. People love to say that, but I've proven it multiple times over and over again in the past decade that you actually can manifest by surrender, not doing all the things, not feeling like you have to be going. It is absolutely possible. And actually, a lot of times you end up getting a lot more than you thought you would receive by just letting life be life. Yeah? So the reason why most people can't manifest just sitting around all day is because it's actually their belief that they can't. They've already decided that it isn't possible. That's why they go around telling you things like you can't sit around all day and meditate and expect to manifest. You can. I've done it multiple times, and many of my clients have done the same thing as well. So anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another day, but I'll just leave that there for now. So if you want to know the juicy details about my entire surrender experience and a lot of the behind the scenes and all of those things, I'll be sharing it exclusively in the Telegram group. Okay. So in the years prior, it's always only been me sharing my own personal surrender journey on day one and guiding you into the journaling exercises. Day one is also the longest and most detailed journal assignment because it's designed to open your mind and heart to everything that will unfold all throughout this week. The rest of the days are usually much shorter, but I'm surrendered in this experience, in this area. So if God leads me to add more, I absolutely will. So I'm not sure how long or short they'll be going forward, but this one is typically the longest one. And that's why I wanted to share it here today and read it for you so that you can get everything you need to get started on this journey. So this will be the only day that I will be sharing any of the journaling exercises in the prayers here on YouTube. If you want to access the full experience, the Telegram group is where it all goes down. Every journal prompt, every prayer, and an exclusive behind the scenes. Like I said, my full surrender journey from 2018 and even what's been going on up until now, all the highs, the lows, the miraculous manifestations, everything in between that have shaped me as the woman, the coach, and the leader that you see today. All right. But I wanted to give you day one here because day one really sets the tone for the week and it gives you sort of a taste of what to really expect and what the full journey is going to be all about. So you can decide if this is your vibe and you want to go deeper in the Telegram group with me. Or even if you don't and you choose to just watch the YouTube videos, like I said, or you don't even want to continue beyond this point, day one will still benefit you greatly. It will open your heart, get you started on the path to really understanding surrender, and it will create a space for miracles right where you are. However, I absolutely recommend the full experience. Watch the YouTube videos. Go check out the Telegram group. I'm telling you, it's all going to be amazing. So with that said, I want to keep things simple and light, and we're just going to ease our way into our first official day. So today's lesson is so simple. In fact, like I said, it's never really had an audio introduction or any kind of teaching, because what other way would we begin a surrender experience than with surrender? We are going to build a foundation for our journey with a few questions that will help you get clear on where you are and where you desire to go. So together, we can bridge the gap. These questions should take no more than a few minutes to answer. You can follow along with me as I read each question, and you can pause me as you take your time to answer. Or if you want, you can just listen to everything, write down the questions or screenshot them, and then you can answer on your own later. All right. Whatever feels most aligned to you, try not to overthink these questions, but allow whatever comes up to come up and trust that it is what needs to come through in this moment. Okay. So just trust whatever comes up. Let it be what it is. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't overthink, but don't rush. All right. The goal for this is opening your awareness. It's not perfection. So this is your journey between you and God. So there's really no way for you to get it wrong. Okay. Now, before we begin, I suggest sitting still and quiet for a few moments. So again, you can pause me here, And I want you to take a few slow, deep, cleansing breaths to ground and center yourself. And then ask yourself the question out loud and begin writing whatever comes up. Now, if you get stuck on a question, just pause for a moment. You can take a breath and just ask God to show you what you most need to know in this moment. Trust that whatever you think you don't know, God absolutely knows, and He will reveal to you everything that you need to know in His perfect time, in His perfect way. Allow yourself to really go there. Be raw, be real, be honest. Nothing is off limits. No one else will see this but you and God. And like I always say, if you can't be real with anyone else in your life, you can rest assured that you can be real with God, because He already knows what's truly on your heart anyway, right? So writing it just simply acknowledges your trust that He hears you. So that's all we're doing today. All right, so are you ready? Let's get started. The first question is, what do I feel I most need from God right now? Now with this question, you can go as deep as you choose to go. This can be tangible or intangible, personal, emotional, business related. So this can be clarity, clients, peace, financial overflow, divine ideas, support, whatever feels most pressing to you today. It's okay to list material desires here to get them out on paper or on screen, whichever way you're journaling. So if you need something from God right now, it's totally okay to tell God what that is. If you need His attention or to feel His love more, if you need to feel more supported in any way, if you feel like I'm not being provided for, God, I have needs that aren't being met, I need a financial miracle in my business, whatever the case is, share it all with God, get it all out, and then you can move on to the next question. So again, if you need to, you can pause. But I just want you to know the whole point of this is really getting clear on where you are now, writing it down, and bringing it to light, because that's what opens you up to receive. Remember, nothing is too small or too big to bring in here. Sometimes just naming what you need opens the door for God to provide it in unexpected ways. All right, now next question. What is the vision I see and the intention I want to set for myself and my business in this experience? Now, this is a really, really powerful question, and it's pretty layered also. So I'm going to give you a few insights to this. In other words, what I want to know is, what do you feel God has shown you about your life and about your business? What are those glimpses that you've seen when you were younger, or even in the past few years, past few months, past few weeks? Really trust those, okay, when you go into this question. What is your deepest desire right now? What do you expect to experience, receive, embody, and create through these 7 days of surrender? Because to see results, you have to write the vision and make it plain. So the thing is that the vision is already inside of you because God placed it within you. You don't need to make something up here. The key is remembering who God created you to be and what has He already revealed to you. And then choosing to focus on that and focusing on it again if you've lost sight of it. Think back to the glimpses you've had, the moments you saw yourself speaking, coaching, leading, creating, thriving. Even if you pushed them aside or reality made you doubt them, those glimpses were God revealing to you His desire for you and what's possible for you. So this is where you ask, God, let my desires align with your vision. Help me to see from my life and business what you see. When you align your desire with God's vision, that's when miracles move at lightning speed. The act of putting it into words is extremely powerful. Habakkuk 2:2-3 in the New King James Version says, "Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Powerful, powerful scripture. Writing the vision is how you partner with God to bring the formless into form. Writing is so extremely powerful. I teach this throughout everything that I teach, but journaling, writing is so, so powerful. And God tells us that every vision has an appointed time. That means if it hasn't come yet, it's not because you missed it or it's not for you. It simply means it's unfolding in God's perfect time. You just have to trust that. Even if reality looks different right now, that vision is still true. And your role is to write it. It is to hold it, to nurture it, and to trust that it is already set into motion. And if you saw my last manifestation story video, it wasn't the last video I did, but the one before that, I shared how simply writing the vision was the catalyst to manifesting my dream life back in 2014. And it happened in literally less than 6 months. So super, super, super powerful. Do not take this part lightly and for granted, okay? Definitely write the vision, make it plain. Now, third question. Am I willing to claim this as already mine? Everything you desire already exists. To see it manifest, you have to first claim it as yours and then command it into your field. Claiming is the decision that positions you to receive. Commanding is the authority to call it forth. Both are radical acts of faith that require you to hold the vision and speak it into existence, knowing that it's already done. So claiming is receiving and saying yes to what God has already promised and prepared. It's giving yourself permission to receive what is already yours in the spirit realm. When you claim it, you are acknowledging, God, I agree with you. I agree with what you're promising me. I want to step into this. Yes? Commanding is activating with authority. So there's no more hoping and wishing and wanting and figuring out, waiting to feel ready. None of that. Okay? A command is complete. Commanding means it's already done, even if you can't see it yet in the 3D. So you're speaking those things that be not as though they were with divine authority and declaring them into being. Commanding is how you align your language and your energy with what God is already doing in the spirit realm, what he's already bringing to pass for you. And this is the energy we move from today and every day. Now, claiming and commanding only works with surrender. And I want to make sure I really make that clear, because the key here is, God, I'm willing to claim this. I'm willing to speak it. And then I'm willing to surrender the how and the when back to you. See, it's not our job to know how and when things are going to unfold. It's just our job to know that it's done already. See, and I think that's what gets us hung up a lot. And I don't want to get too teachy and preachy today, because that's not what this audio is for. But I just really want to stress that, because a lot of times the reason why we don't see the vision that we know that God has shown us glimpses of, the reason why we can't see it coming to pass is because we keep double dutching with it. We're in and out, we're in and out, we're in and out, because we're trying to figure out how to make it happen and when it's going to happen. When really, our only job is to hold that vision. Keep speaking it into existence. Keep claiming it. Keep the energy alive for it. Stay connected to the vision instead of trying to micromanage the outcome. So in this particular case, when you claim and command, you're stepping into faith, making the declaration, trusting the process, and leaving the rest to God. Now, question 4 is, who do I need to be in order to have this? So everything flows from the inside out. We attract and we create based on who we are being, and your beingness is what you are embodying in your consciousness, in your emotions, your vibration, your standards, and your action. So your thoughts, your words, your energy, what you're putting out, all of that creates your beingness. So when the shift is made on the inside first, the outer circumstances have no choice but to match that frequency. So what you're asking for can only be held if you're willing to embody it first. This is way more than just like strategy or action. This is about who you're choosing to be in the process. See, a lot of people think manifestation is all about getting what you want and making things happen. But really what manifestation is becoming the person who already has that. So you can match the frequency and the vibration of that thing. So in other words, if you want love, you got to be love first. If you want to have money or wealth, you got to be wealthy first. You have to think wealthy thoughts. You have to be in that energy. So it's vital that these are the things that you're doing when you're wanting to receive something. Identity first, action second, right? Because a lot of times in this world, we're kind of doing it backwards. We think that the action is first. So we're trying to do all the things and make the things happen. We're trying to get the things that are outside of us that we don't already have. But when you just naturally embody God's frequency, it's just drawn to you automatically. And then action without identity delays your miracle, because it keeps you locked in these cycles of doing, improving, and comparing and questioning, instead of living from the miraculous identity that magnetizes overflow and abundance and miracles and all the things that you're asking for. You can even achieve the goal, but then you'll just still feel empty when you get there, because identity is the difference between forcing results through striving and allowing results through flow and embodiment. Everything that God does and ever will do in your life flows through you. God is the source. I know that sometimes we think it's our jobs or other people that give us money or whatever the case is, but everything flows through you. All the other things that he uses outside of you are resources that he can use to get things to you, but it all still flows through you. Your energy has to be right for it to flow. And one of the most important things that you need to know, and I'm going to say this all throughout this series and probably all throughout everything you ever hear me share or teach. You are the miracle. You are the catalyst. You are the power. You are the portal. The portal means it flows through you. So you are a big part of the process because your beingness is how it flows. And that beingness is about remembering and embodying the truth of who you are, that you are that miracle, that you are the catalyst. You are making the things happen and it's flowing through you. You have to take full ownership of that because you and God are co-creating your life. There's nobody else outside responsible for your life but you. So this isn't about waiting and chasing and not even just simply asking for miracles or praying for them or begging for them or crying for them. Like none of that stuff really works. Asking works, but you first have to be aligned with the answer. So to be aligned with the answer, the beingness has to be intact. Every client, every opportunity, every miracle, every dollar that comes your way is drawn to the miracle frequency that you carry. That beingness, that's when your business becomes more effortless because you're embodying the truth of who you are and what God already says is yours. See, if you know who you are and you know what God says is yours, there's nothing to question. There's nothing to debate. There's no reason to double dutch because you already know this thing is already done. But if you see yourself as somebody who's just barely scraping by or nothing ever works out for me or I'm such a failure or whatever your inner thoughts are, the ones that, you typically wouldn't tell anybody that you think, you'll unconsciously repel the overflow. But if you see yourself as a daughter of God who is well provided for and well taken care of, and you be the woman who is already chosen, sent, anointed, and infinitely resourced, then you literally just become a walking, talking, breathing miracle in motion because there's no reason to question. You're confident, you trust, you don't have to force things because you don't chase, you attract, right? Everything comes to you. The things are drawn to you. So once you've embodied that identity, your actions naturally shift. So it's from the beingness first, the being space, and then the action. Because once you've embodied the miraculous identity, when you've embodied that I am a daughter of God and everything is always working out for me because God is my father and he takes excellent care of me, or however you view God, then your actions will naturally flow from that. You'll show up differently. You'll speak differently. You'll carry new standards and new boundaries and all of that. And from there, your business and really your entire life becomes an extension of that flow. So now, the last question, and also really the most important question. What do I need to surrender or let go of? I could spend a lot of time on this, and I probably will spend a little bit more time on this than I have on the other questions, but this is a really important question. Every new level requires release. So in other words, to get to the next level, there's always something you have to let go of. To receive what God has for you, your willingness to surrender the old and what no longer serves you is so vital, I can't put it into words. Also, remember when we talk about releasing and letting go and surrendering, we're not talking about pushing things away or resisting what already is, but rather embracing and lovingly accepting what is without judgment and then reaching for the miracle instead. And I'll go a little deeper with that in a moment. But in order to see the miracles that are always available to you, you have to let go of anything that may be blocking them. There is a quote in the Course of Miracles that says something loosely to the effect of, miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. And when they are not happening, something has gone wrong. And that's such a powerful quote because I just feel like if we recognized how much miracles were happening around us all the time, they're happening everywhere, all around you, all day, every day, 24/7. Miracles are never not happening. And we can think about this with money too, because if you think about it, let's just say, for example, you don't have the money you want to have in your bank account, but there could be literally a millionaire down the street from you or across the city from you. It could be somebody right next to you that has tons of money. There's always money circulating around you. When you go into a store, when you go anywhere, there's always money in circulation. Miracles are the same way. You just got to tap into it. And the problem is our perception. We don't always see the miracles. We can't always perceive them. We can't always feel them or bring them into our awareness or into our field because we have all this other crap going on that's blocking them. But there really is nothing that isn't available to us. So for example, If money is your issue, I'll just use that because that's usually, a common issue for most people. And even if we have money, a lot of times we want more, right? But the question to ask is, how are you blocking it? If you're not seeing the money that you want to see in your life, how are you blocking it? It could be simple things, right? But it also could be deep things like generational patterns or cycles. It could be buried beliefs and things that you've been taught and conditioned to believe. It could be a lot of those things. But sometimes it can be really, really simple. It could just be the way you're viewing money, which again is probably from your conditioning. But it could be also that you're grasping it instead of allowing it to flow freely. Anything that you're grasping is going to avoid you. It's going to elude you. You're not going to be able to grip it. But when you allow yourself to just let go, and that's why surrender is such a powerful process, because the more that we surrender, we're able to release that grasping energy that we have on things. So you might want the money, or you might want whatever it is, clients in your business, the mate, the house. You may want these things, but there's a difference in desiring them from a space of expansion. Like, I'm wanting this thing because I think it's going to make me happy. And I even have to be careful even with that. That's why I paused for a second, because this isn't about something making you happy or making you better or making you more or making you something that you're not already or making you more valuable and all of that. These types of things are ego-based. So these things don't serve you. What you want to focus more on is, I want this because. And if I could give you like a real life example, I guess I'll give you my case. I love my business because I love to help people. It's why I started. I had no idea what was going on in the coaching world. I didn't know the coaching world, quote unquote, was a thing. I had no idea. I love to do exactly what I'm doing right now, helping women and people, since I'm on YouTube, see how powerful they are, how powerful surrender is, and how miraculous your life can be when you really allow yourself to embody who God created you to be. There's nobody else that you need to be. And I want to make that very clear. You're not trying to become somebody else, because I noticed that people use this language a lot in the industry, and it's probably just semantics for some people. But for me, it's serious, because it's not that you're trying to become somebody else. There's no becoming. You already are it. So you're not trying to become, like striving to be somebody that you're not. You already are her. You were born her. It's almost like, I want you to think about like a caterpillar forcing itself and trying to become a butterfly. Like, it just already is. Caterpillars have butterfly DNA when they are created. They don't need to do anything or be anything more. Or, it's not like, oh, well, maybe I need to eat more leaves today, or maybe I should go live over here because the sun is brighter. They don't need to strive in any way. They don't need to force or make things happen in any way. They are naturally guided through the process. And the more that we recognize that we're always naturally being guided, the more we'll see miracles. Can you imagine a baby in the womb efforting to grow? Fighting to make sure the lungs develop so I can be born. And I'm using these kind of ridiculous analogies because, and they are powerful, but I really want you to see how we actually do this in real life. Like, you're fighting and working hard and trying to strive to get to the goals and to the things that you want so you can become this woman that you already freaking are. The baby is going to be born. There's really nothing it can do to stop it. The caterpillar is going to become a butterfly. You can't opt out of the process. You cannot stop your destiny. You cannot stop who you are. You are meant to be her. You were created to be her. You are her. So this fighting and striving towards something that you already are is pointless. You don't need anything outside of yourself to be or feel whole or valuable or worthy. Miracles and abundance and all of that is already your birthright. So whatever it is that you're working towards and you're trying to get to, the only thing that's holding you back is the fact that you don't believe that you already are it. So a lot of times that's the issue. And so we're blocking the miracles that could and should be happening in our life every day. If the baby was trying to make things happen and trying to force itself to do things, it would be blocking the ability for God to naturally make it happen. It's a natural process. So I hope that makes sense. But I just want you to see it from that perspective. So when you say, what do I need to surrender and let go of? Everything. Start with that. But list it out, okay? Because there are specific things to you that you need to let go of. And that's the thing. We also like to act like we don't know what's going on. But we know. Okay? You know what you need to let go of. And a lot of times we act like we don't know because we don't want to. But in this process, we don't get to choose. We just have to let go because that's what God is asking us to do. And none of it is worth your destiny or worth what God is doing in your life. So just let it go. I promise you, you'll be much better for it later. And if it's meant for you, it'll come back around anyway. So you just have to trust, okay? Now, whatever it is that you're hanging on to, whatever it is that you're grasping, whatever it is that you're attached to, The outcomes that you feel like, if I don't have this, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be able to carry out the vision that God has for me. I'm not going to be happy in life if I don't have this one thing. I'm not going to feel safe if I don't have this thing. If my bills aren't paid exactly on the time and the date that I expect them to be, I'm not going to feel safe. And that is a big one for a lot of people. It was big for me back in the day. Bills, thankfully, by the grace of God, are a thing of the past for me. I don't really have to think too much about bills anymore. I remember when there was a time when I used to tell God, like, if I just had enough to pay my bills each month, I would be happy. I wasn't even asking for any overflow or anything at that time. It was just, if you just made sure my rent got paid and I had a roof over my head and that my kids could eat. Because, of course, remember, I'm the girl who lost everything, right? So there has been a time that I didn't have all of that. Now, I never not had food and stuff like that, but there were times that I went through a lot of struggle. So I relate to that and I understand that. And if that's where you are, I get it. But you can't be so fixated on that you're blocking the miracles that are trying to get to you. So you have to let it go. You have to be willing to let go of where you are to get where you want to go. It's almost like an embracing and a letting go. And I promise I'll explain this so much better to you throughout the week. So I'm kind of just off the cuff here and I'm just giving you more than I probably should be giving you because I need to just give you these questions and let you go and be free so you can answer them or whatever you're going to do for the rest of the day. But there's always something, maybe even someone, could be a lot of different things. But whatever it is, there's always more to let go of. Always, 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 always. This is a golden rule of mine. And anybody who knows me well, that hangs around me a lot, any of my ride or die clients, they know I say this all the time. There's always more to surrender. There's always more. There's always more. When you think you have surrendered enough, surrender some more. Keep surrendering. There's no such thing as too much surrender, in my opinion. And I'm telling you that when stuff comes into my mind, like, why isn't this working? Or I'm like, I don't care, surrender. I literally will walk around chanting, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender all the time. I wake up in the middle of the night, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. I wake up in the morning, I surrender. I go to bed at night, I surrender. This is a constant prayer of mine. People ask me all the time, how do you really, really surrender? Like, how do you really do it? And I get like, I don't understand it. Some people don't even want to surrender, but there are some of you out there and you're like, I want to surrender, but how do I just let it all go? How do I just not care? How do I just act like what I want isn't important? I get it. But this is how you do it. You just tell God, I don't know, God. I just give it to you. And you just keep doing it. You first have to speak it. You got to put it out there. You got to let God know that you're doing it. Like I said, I'll work through all of this with you in the coming audios. So you don't have to understand it all today. But even sometimes you might need to ask God, like, I need your help with this. I don't know how to surrender, God. Show me. Right? But this is how you do it. You just keep doing it until it starts to feel real. You don't even have to trust it in the beginning. But the more willing you are, the more you'll see that it works. All right. And remember how I said before, it's not just about pushing away or resisting. So it's not like I got to get rid of this thing because people are going to think this about me or that about me. Because it's like, well, I don't want to be broke because people are going to look at me like this. You'll make it mean something that it doesn't really mean about you. Like, I'm not good enough if I don't have the money I think I should have. Or if I don't have the partner, people are going to look at me and think I'm not valuable or nobody wants me. So when we're pushing away and resisting, I don't want this thing. I don't want to be in this place. I'm miserable in this place. That blocks your miracles. And I know, trust me, I know it's hard. Honestly, in my video, the manifestation story, when I decided to let go is when things started to change. As long as I wanted to be angry with God and pissed off at God and blaming God about how my life wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it and he didn't love me because he didn't do the things that I expected him to do and didn't make things happen the way that they should have been happening in my life. As long as that was what was going on, it stayed that way. And I stayed miserable. And I stayed miserable for 3 years. Now, granted, I told you guys the postpartum depression was a part of that too. So it wasn't all my fault, but it was definitely a lot of me. So I had to let go. And when I did, that's when things started to change. So don't block your miracles, okay? I know that sometimes you're in tough places. I've been there. I'm still there sometimes. It's not always perfect. I have a really, really beautiful, blessed life, but it's not always perfect. You got to be willing to, you know what? This doesn't look the way I want it to, but that's okay, God. I trust you. And I believe that there are things happening behind the scenes that I cannot see because what you don't know is that there really are. And the more you trust and believe that, the more you'll start to see those things pop up. So like I said, it's like you have to embrace and lovingly accept exactly where you are and exactly what is without judgment. And once you can do that, you'll start to see things changing. So you look at it, you say, okay, this is where I am now. I'm struggling to pay my bills. Yes, I'm feeling this way because I don't have the clients I want to have in my business. My business isn't looking the way I want it to look. I'm feeling this way because of this or that situation or whatever. Everybody's situation is unique. but then you choose to surrender it. You choose to release the attachment to any of it. It's almost like you refuse to care in a sense. And I hate saying that, but honestly, it's true. And it's not necessarily in an attitude-ish way, even though sometimes I'm there. Sometimes I will really tell God, I'd be like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I don't care. Thank you for, the things that you've already done. Thank you for keeping me and my family safe. And that's all I'm going to ask you for today. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care if this business stuff works out. I don't care if people watch the YouTube video. I don't care. Because sometimes it is like that. And we'll talk about what surrender is and isn't in the next audio. So I'm not going to get deep into that. But for now, I'll just say, sometimes surrender really is giving up. I know on social media, they tell you, surrender's not giving up, it's this, it's that. It's not. Like, it can be a lot of different things. But sometimes it really is just being like, you know what? I give up, God. You win. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. So that's just kind of how it is. And that's okay if that's where you are. But the key is not still grasping it. It's actually truly letting go. Because I think for some reason we think that as long as we're grasping onto something, that we have some sort of control. No, I mean, you don't. You don't have control over anything that's happening. So when you release the grasping and you just surrender and you say, God, I give it to you. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I don't want to be in this place anymore, but I don't know how to change it. So I give it to you. I don't know what else to do. I'm asking you to change it. Yeah. And that's when you start dropping the walls and opening your heart to miracles. That's when you start seeing the sprouts. And that's when things start happening that blow your mind. Okay. So what do you need to surrender and let go of? And honestly, you can keep coming back to this. If you think of something else later, write it down. Every time you think of something new, write it down. Let go of that too. Everything can be surrendered. Even the little things that you think don't matter to God, it absolutely matters to him. Everything that you're going through matters to God. And if you surrender it all, he's willing to take it all. All right. So now that you've let all that stuff go and you've gotten clear on where you are, what you're holding on to, what you need to let go of, all of those things, let's take a quick minute to pray and anchor it all in and activate this process. So I've included one here. I'm going to read it, but I want you to take your time and look at it again later. Put the things in that you need to put in, add in whatever you need to add in. Anything that comes to mind, put it in your prayer. Okay. Dear God, I thank you for this sacred moment right here, right now. My heart is overflowing with gratitude for all that you've already given me and for the countless miracles still unfolding. I am so happy and grateful now, and you can include whatever it is that you're happy and grateful now for in this moment. Because even if things are hard and there are problems, there's always something you can be grateful for. Just like there's always more to surrender, there's always something to be grateful for. Even if it's just waking up today, even if it's just having hot water, even if it's just having food to eat, whatever it is, find something that you can be grateful for. And then I'm so happy and grateful now, and include whatever the desires are that you want to create and what it is that you do want to receive from this experience, the intentions that you put out there already. In question 2, I think it was, whatever it is that you need from God right now. And whatever it is that you're asking God for today, I want you to include that and write it in present tense as if you've already received it, right? Like you already know it's done. So for example, I'm so happy and grateful now for what I see in this moment and what is already happening in the unseen that I can't see. The blessings, the breakthroughs, the clients, the opportunities, the peace, the love, the overflow, everything that you prepared for me. I declare with faith and certainty that the path before me is clear, paved with your favor, and overflowing with blessings beyond anything I could ever ask, think, or imagine. Because putting the expectation out there and gratitude is what draws miracles to you. Right now, I willingly surrender every weight, every block, every fear, and every limitation into your hands. I release control and step fully into trust, knowing that what you have for me is greater than what I've been holding on to. I call forth miracles. I call forth clarity. I call forth divine provision, and I receive it all now. So be it, and so it is. It is done, it is done, it is done. I thank you now in Jesus' name. Amen. And then you can thank God for the miracles that are already happening. Like I said, anything that you are desiring, write it in present tense and make sure you voice those to God. Let God know what you're agreeing with him for, that you're trusting him for, that you're petitioning him for. But in the present tense as if it's already done. Thank you for this thing. Thank you for that thing. Thank you that clients are coming into my business. Thank you that money is flowing faster than I can keep up. Thank you that miracles are overtaking me. Trust and know that everything you need and desire is happening behind the scenes. I promise you it is. And the moment you line up with it and you can get yourself on the same page with it, same frequency, they have no choice but to respond. They have no choice but to come in. Just like when you switch your dial to a radio station, it has no choice but to play that station. You're tuned to the frequency. And when you surrender, you're tuning yourself to the frequency of miracles. All right. And then the last thing, because this audio is way longer than I expected it to be. The last thing I want to just tell you about is books. I have something called the Miraculous Women Library that I always share with my clients and people that come into my space. I will share it in the Telegram group. I've read some really extraordinary books that have absolutely changed my life. Of course, I've mentioned some of them in previous videos. And in this one, I'm going to share ones, like I said, that are specific to surrender. So The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. It's the first book I read on surrender back in 2018. You hear all about that in my personal surrender journey that I share in the Telegram group. Outrageous Openness and It's Not Your Money. Two of the most extraordinary books. One of the most extraordinary authors I've ever read that write about surrender. Amazing. The Magic of Surrender by Coop Blackson. Extraordinary book as well. And I would suggest the audio because he's such a powerful, strong voice. I can't even explain. I just enjoyed listening to it. So I would definitely check out the audio. A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Honestly, anything by Marianne Williamson is extraordinary. She's my favorite author and I've pretty much read all of her books. But A Return to Love is the first book I read and it was the most life-changing for me. And I believe that it talks the most about surrender. It's kind of I don't want to say a Cliff's Notes on A Course in Miracles because it's far more than that, but it definitely gives you like all of the most important points of A Course in Miracles. It's a very, very, very powerful book. And then The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. Again, anything by Gabby, just like Marianne, is extraordinary. May Cause Miracles, Super Attractor. I mean, she has some extraordinary books as well, and a lot of them have been very helpful along my journey. And then the last book that I listed is a book by Priscilla Shearer. I believe is how you pronounce her name. It's called I Surrender All. I actually haven't fully read this book, but I have read pieces of it. I've heard her talk a lot about surrender in a video on YouTube, and she sounds like she's very well versed on surrender. And so I also suggest that book, even though I haven't completely read it. I know it's a phenomenal read, I'm sure, and I can't wait to binge it myself. I actually haven't read a surrender book probably in at least 3 to 5 years. I haven't read one. So I was very immersed in it when I first started the surrender journey back in 2018. And for the next couple of years, I read them a lot, but I haven't really read a ton of books about surrender since those books. So I would definitely check them all out. And I actually have a few more that I am going to be checking out very soon. So I will be adding them to the Miraculous Women Library as I go. But in the meantime, those are the books that I would suggest. And yeah, with that, day one is complete. So I hope you felt like this was pretty painless. I hope you feel like it was extremely helpful to you. I really think it just depends on where you are in your life and what you're surrendering. But hopefully you're feeling lighter once you surrender everything, because that's the whole point of the surrender experience. The whole process. Surrender is something that just really gives you a peace that passes all understanding. There's no other way, I think, to really experience the peace of God than through surrender. It's such a powerful act. And once you've surrendered, you should feel like an immediate peace. And if you don't feel peace, it's because you're probably not actually surrendered. So you just need to go deeper. Keep surrendering, keep trying, keep talking to God about it. Really let God know that you want to surrender and you want to let it go and you just don't know how, and ask for his help. I promise you, he will not leave you hanging. Okay? But when you fully surrender, you should feel an instant state of peace, and you should feel lighter because you've released it. You've gotten it all off your chest. You've gotten clear on all of those things that you needed to know and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe if you don't have all the answers yet, it's just the peace of knowing that it's handled because it's in God's hands. And I can't do anything with it anyway. He's the best place to put it. So just let him have it. And so the only question I guess I would have for you now is, how was day one for you? I'd love to know your thoughts and how you're feeling. Please comment below and share with me about your experience, any thoughts, ahas, breakthroughs, anything that has really landed for you. I would love to know. And you can do this here in the comments or on Telegram if you've joined us there. If you haven't, the link will be in the description. I absolutely recommend it. Also, of course, if you have questions, you can post them as well, and I will be happy to answer them. Please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, let YouTube know that you're feeling this video. It will help my channel a lot. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy your day. I will be back with you very, very soon with the next audio. I love you guys so much. I will talk to you soon. Mwah. Lots of love and miracles.